nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely bottle.
Yeah.
You like the blue, yeah?
I do. I like the blue as well. That's what I thought. Oh, whoa! What a big water!
No, the bottle alone is about £15 to £20 just for the bottle alone. But the quality of the water, it has to be in like, well, ideally a dark bottle, but it has to be glass.
Yeah.
Then it will maintain all its properties because it's structured water. There's nothing in it. All the impurities are taken out. So when you drink it, it actually starts detoxing. It takes everything out of your body. So or any kind of toxins in your body, it will take them out. So if you put it in a plastic bottle, it will start to take the impurities from the plastic, and you don't have that going out because you're trying to take things out of your body as opposed to contaminating yourself.
Yeah.
Is it distilled water?
Say again?
Is it distilled water?
No, distilled water. Distilled water is good. Don't get me wrong. Distilled water is good.
No, I'm asking a question. I don't know what's in it.
Yeah, no, distilled water is very good, but this is structured water. It's a higher level than distilled water. It's the highest. It's like the fourth state of water. It's the highest quality of water you could ever get.
So it's not Kangen.
No, Kangen, no. These are just commercial. These are the commercial stuff that
I wouldn't get either. Oh,
you wouldn't get either. Okay, good. Distilled water is good. You can't get anything else. Distilled water is good, but this water is 10 times better. As I said, I've had people that have had aches and pains, joint pains. They've drunk a few bottles out of the water, not liter size, just normal, 100 ml bottles. I mean, 1 liters, and within 2-3 days, their aches and pains have gone.
Right, then you need to be selling that on.
It's coming. It's
You need to
coming.
be selling it on then.
It's coming. It's coming.
Are you sharing, Erin?
Seriously.
Empress. You know what? There's so much to get through today. If I get some time, I'll touch on it and maybe see if I can make a few bottles available, because it's such an exciting project. Once it gets out, if you drink this water, you'll never drink any other water ever again. I guarantee you.
So it's not Shungite.
It's not Shungite.
Shungite's really good, I find.
Yeah, Shungite. Shungite was one of the filters in the process of removing the impurities. Yes, one of the filters has Shungite, but there's about 7 others. So it's a lot of processes gone through to get it to the quality that it is at the moment.
Then you've piqued my interest.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Dawn is trying to get in. Can't hear. Right. I want to get started as soon as we can.
Hello, this is
Hello,
Angela
Angel.
speaking.
Welcome aboard. Welcome on board.
Welcome. Hope you got some good old info.
Good old info.
Yeah, good information regarding your subject matter and more.
Just wait and see. Sit back, relax. Get your video off. Make sure your video's on. Sorry, we want to see some lovely faces.
And also the fact that now that we can go back to the gyms, what is the quickest way to start shredding?
Well, this is what we're going to talk about
The
today.
excess weight, yeah, innit?
This is what we're going to do with today. So relax, get your pad out, get your pen. Just be prepared.
Will there be a recording?
That's a good point. Let me see if I can record it. 1 second. Let me see if I can record it. Yes, it's recording already. It's already started.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Yeah, because I'm driving at the moment, so.
Driving. Okay. Keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Just went for a lovely walk in the
Yeah, that's
forest.
the right way on a Sunday afternoon. Really nice and
Yeah.
lovely.
I think we've done about 5 miles, 5-mile walk.
Wow,
isn't it?
wow. That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, we did a 5-mile walk through the
That's
forest.
a serious walk. That's a very good walk. That's a very good walk.
Up the forest, up 7 miles. Oh, sorry, 7 miles.
7 miles. You lost count. You're walking so far, so fast. You lost count.
7, yeah. We went up a hill, round the hill, through the hill, and wherever else that could be done with the hill.
That's the right way. Doing some serious cardio there.
Yeah.
Very good. Greetings.
Place called
Empress,
Cannock.
greetings, McLean.
Oh, Cannock Chase.
Okay. Dawn. Oh, Dawn, you can't hear. Dawn, ask somebody to show you how to
I'm here. Can you hear me?
just put it in the group. Just click in the group because somebody will show you how to do it. But all you do is make sure you click on dial in with audio, with phone audio. you should be able to hear everything and hear yourself. I know that everyone's used to having or doing Zoom calls. It's been
Erin, I'm going to make a suggestion. You need to put something in that water that will help as well with maybe menopause as well, hot flushes. Put something in the water that will
Let me make a note of that. Let me make a note of
more
that.
water.
Let me make a note of that.
Seriously, because the combination might go well. As you can see, I've got my fan.
You know what though? Do you know what? We've already got a solution for hot flushes. Do you not know about Menovate?
Yes, but
Have you not used it?
No, I haven't. I just.
Right, that's why you got your fan. If you use the Menovate,
That's
can't
all.
afford it. Okay, that is the best way to deal with your hot flushes, because it doesn't just deal with hot flushes. It actually deals with the whole of your endocrine system. So it balances your system, and as a byproduct, all your hot flushes go down within about 7 days. You literally have about 10% of what you had at the beginning of the week. Very worth getting Menovate. I mean, for 40 pounds, it gets rid of a lifetime of problems. I think it's more than a worthwhile investment because the ingredients in there are so powerful.
Yes, I know. And I think just trying to save up a little to think I'll try and get it because I've seen it and I think yes, yeah.
Great. Yeah. No, when you're ready, definitely try and make the investment. Okay. Right. Got a good amount of people in, so let's get started. I've got a lot of stuff to get through today. As always, let me see who we've got in there. These are, but you mentioned my name twice. I want to call, but okay, let's make sure we use the chat as well. I'm going to try and see if I can get the chat on the side. Oh, it's Dawn. Okay. Yeah, it's another Dawn. Yeah, come on, camera, Dawn. Don't be shy. Hey, Nicole. Nice for you to join us today.
Hi, Erin.
Right. Gloria's on as well. I'm going to get someone to lead us in prayer. We can open with a nice prayer. I won't get nightmares though. It's not that bad. Okay, let's get started. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for another beautiful Sunday afternoon. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and share with all these beautiful people some wisdom and knowledge. We hope that what they receive today will exalt them, uplift them, and empower them to have a better quality of health. Therefore leading to a better quality of life. They can then go on to do the things that they need to do and empower themselves, empower their families, and empower their children. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Right, let's get ready to rumble. Again, let's try and get as many people on the video. We don't have anybody shy because this is going to be recording and it's going to be on our website and on our YouTube site. So a lot of people are going to log in. It's going to go to a lot of places. So don't be shy. Don't forget to put your best foot forward. Put your best smile on. Get your nice background. You know, our people show off. Get your nice backgrounds. I see Ed adjusting the camera, make sure they can get everything just perfectly right in the background.
This is what's behind me.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Now we like it. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Let's see some faces. I want to make sure I'm not speaking to myself.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on the Zoom.
Gloria, you're up on the Zoom.
This is up on the Zoom, you hear me? Me I try to fix up, you know me, I try to fix up my little self.
Right,
me hear this short a while ago, but now it get long.
That's right. No, it's perfect. It's perfect. It looks lovely. It suits you.
All right.
It's the start of the season. Okay, so let's get some housekeeping, guys. As you log in, I think there is a natural function that ensures everybody logs on as they log in. They automatically muted. If you've not muted, please try and make sure you mute yourselves so that not be interrupted. A good steady flow, so the information can flow uninterrupted. If you've got any background noise, please try and make sure you mute your phone out because sometimes it unmutes by itself. Just make sure you mute.
Yeah, I'm picking them and make nice.
Exactly. And some people got their rice and peas. We got your pots clanging.
Not today. Not today.
Okay. Let's try and make sure you keep all those rice and peas clanging to one side. Unless you're sharing.
You know? Unless we share some with you.
Exactly. Then that's allowed. But on the whole, let's try and keep the background noise.
Not a lot of noise, please. Yes, I'm doing something now.
Keep your things on mute. Please, let's get your phones on mute, get your microphones on mute, get your laptops on mute. We will have some time for interaction as we go through. If you've got questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll try and go through them all. As we get to a question start, we're going to have each, as we go through the section, we're going to ask you if you have any questions. So you'll be able to unmute yourself and ask the questions, so we can try and get as much dialogue and interaction as we can. We're joined by Sophia around 4 o'clock. She had a bit of a emergency she had to attend to today, so she'll be joining us around 4. Okay, right, Gloria.
Yes.
I'm going to mute yours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, let me get that mute function. Mute you again. Where are you gone? Okay. Better. Do you know? Okay, mute. Errol, Basil. I'm just going to check the chat. Not sure if there are two doors. Not hearing nothing since 3. Is it just me with links sent by Android? Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Give me a thumbs up. Can anybody hear me? Or you can say in the chat. Good to Eveline. Can everybody hear me? You can give me a thumbs up as well. I can see you. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Alrighty. Right, so welcome back, guys, after the short break or the long break from our Healing Rooms online summit. We had a lot of very, very good feedback. May not be able to hear, that's fine. We're going to be here for 2 hours today. We're going to try and keep it really short and succinct and tight. We had a short break with a lot of good feedback from the Healing Rooms that we did in the spring during the lockdown. A lot of people were really empowered, and we're really grateful for those that were actually able to take part and able to share the information and share the videos and share the links. We did promise that we'll be back in the summer, come back officially with all the doctors and the professionals and the healthcare professionals. We are kicking off with a weight loss summit today, because a lot of people have been asking what they can do to lose weight, because obviously a lot of people have put on weight during the lockdown period. As you can say, the theme today is how to lose the lockdown love, and to do it naturally and quite quickly, because a lot of people want to lose weight quickly. And I know that some people have lost their jobs, so not everyone will be able to afford to go to the gym or maintain a gym membership. So we're going to be covering how you can lose weight naturally and rapidly using your body's own natural healing and weight loss mechanisms. We're also going to identify and get to increase our understanding of how or why your body stores fat in the first place. We're going to be covering that during our presentation. And we're going to also share with you some tips and some tools that you can use or engage or purchase to help to facilitate that weight loss and to facilitate it quite quickly. Got a lot of proven track record of the use of these same products, and how a lot of people have used them very effectively and very extensively to address their weight loss, even though we never actually started out to do weight loss, but weight loss was something that happened as a side effect, as a result of getting the body back into order. So without further ado, we've covered all the housekeeping. We've given you a kind of overview of what we'll be doing today. I'll do the introduction in a second as well. Get our presentation up. Gloria, if you can help me just to share the screen on the top page. Yep, get it on the slideshow. So you've got the first one there. Fantastic. Before we start, can everyone see the screen?
Yeah.
Yep, fantastic. Fantastic. Right, so just a quick introduction. My name is Aaron Warden. I'm a nutritional therapist, natural health researcher, innovator, and producer of plant-based supplements, botanical plant-based supplements. Also a philanthropist, a social entrepreneur, CEO and founder of Go Juice Detox, My Healthcare Plus, and Vivo Nutrients. Go Juice Detox is how we started out about 7 or 8 years ago, making juices and using really detoxify the body and help to address a lot of health concerns that people had. But we found that while we were making the juices and people were getting very well, once they finished their programs, they went back to their old eating habits. So we found out that wasn't really a very good working model. So we then employed the technology where we started to use the scans, and the scans are able to tell us a lot more about the body. So we started to learn about what the body needed and what the body required. And then we started to produce products based on the juices, based on food, that will help the body to bring itself back into order, which will then facilitate natural healing. And then we made juicing be a part of the lifestyle that people made, which was a habit that they were able to adopt and maintain when the program ended. So that was a much better model as opposed to us making juices for people. So we still have the company Go Juice Detox, but then the range of products we developed was called My Healthcare, as in putting your health in your hands, or My Healthcare Plus. And since then, we've evolved again from 2015. In the last 3 to 4 years, we've been focusing on doing the lifestyle changes, using our My Healthcare range of products. But then the market became a little bit confused because they thought that we were a juice company, which we started out as, but we're not. So we've now rebranded under what you can see now here as Vivo Nutrients. Okay, let's give you a little backdrop. So next slide, please. Next slide, Gloria, please. Okay, our vision is about promoting freedom through well-being. That's what we specialize in doing, promoting freedom through well-being, i.e. allowing people to achieve a level of freedom in their health through attaining well-being, which is done through making the lifestyle changes and in putting their body back into a state of order. Our values are being honest, caring, and empowering. And that's what we try to manifest in everything we do. We're honest about what we do, how we speak to people, what we share, the information we share, because the body does reveal a lot of information. We don't think they're gonna die, but we're not medically trained, so we don't give diagnosis, but we are very honest in terms of information. We're very honest in terms of the situation, and we're very honest in terms of what we can do to help people bring their bodies back into it. The caring comes goes without saying, because we always go that extra mile to make sure that people have the relevant information and the relevant support to achieve their health goals. And most importantly, we always strive to empower people by making sure that whatever we do, be dependent on us, and haven't got to be dependent on the doctor, haven't got to be dependent on the product, because they've got the information, they've got the knowledge, and they've got the tools to make sure they can achieve their health and maintain going forward. So that's a bit about us, that's who we are, that's what we do, that's how we do what we do. My passion is obviously bringing people, beyond their realm of expectation, and this is why we formed this company. And the company is like an extension of my own personal vision, which is to see people, achieving high levels of health and having the knowledge to be able to sustain it long term. Next slide. Okay, how do we do that? We combine a combination of science and nature. And everything we do is based on natural products. We use science to identify the issues with the body. We use a non-invasive bioenergy scan, the body MOT health scan, which is a very advanced piece of equipment, because what it does, it has a conversation with your body through your hand, and the body speaks via the software. It's almost like a lie detector, and it tells you exactly what's going on with all your organs. So like your heart, your lungs, your liver, your kidney, your brain, your breast, your bowels, your blood, your bone, your hormones. Everything comes up on the scan, and your body actually tells you what it is, recommendations, should I say, to bring it back into balance. Once you've got that information, we'll use a combination of nature's finest natural ingredients, lifestyle changes, and a series of different products to bring your body back into order. Now, in order for us to do that, we first help people to understand what exactly is disease. Now, the definition of disease, the Oxford Dictionary definition of disease, is a disorder of function that presents specific symptoms, that doesn't not linked to any kind of accident or injury, but it presents specific symptoms, not linked to any of the previously mentioned, i.e. no accident, no injury, no knock, but there's a level of disorder that's presented. Now, conventional medicine, they will always look at your symptoms, they'll always treat your symptoms, or they'll ask you when you go to a doctor, what's wrong with you, or what are your symptoms? You've got a headache, they'll treat the headache. You've got a backache, they'll treat the backache. But none of those are the actual disorder. All of those are a reaction. All those are the effects, or all of those are the symptoms of an underlying cause. What we do here in what we call functional medicine is we have a more integrated approach. We look at the whole body as a whole. We're not going to look at the body as if the headache's in your head. We're not going to look at just at the head. We're going to look at what's gone wrong that's caused the body to have a symptom of a headache or have an effect, which is a headache. So we're always interested only in what is the cause, what is the disorder. So we use our scan and our technology to go into the body, have that conversation with the body, and it will identify all the disorders, all the areas where there's disorders. And once you can see where the disorders are, we're able to target those areas or pinpoint those areas or put together a bespoke program that will enable you to target those specific areas and bring them back into order. And once you've restored order internally, all the symptoms disappear by themselves. We never ever try to treat symptoms. We never ever try to treat, diseases or problems. We only ever go for the disorders. Once you correct the disorders, the diseases go by themselves. And as a result of that, we've built up a very successful track record of dealing with a whole manner of different ailments. We've been able to successfully help people reverse type 2 diabetes. Years and years, we've had hundreds, thousands of clients who had type 2 diabetes. In a matter of weeks, their blood sugar came right down, and it stayed down single digits, and it never went back up again because they made the relevant lifestyle changes. We've had people with blood pressure, we've had people with arthritis, people with backaches, joint aches, bone, all manner of different issues. We never set out to treat any of those issues. We only ever set out to restore order where there was disorders, and all those symptoms or diagnosed symptoms took care of themselves. Pretty much, they almost spontaneously disappeared. So that's the model that we use, and we've had a lot of success in using that model. We've actually developed our own healing methodology that we use, which I'll tell you a bit about as well. But this is just to give you a backdrop as to how we use this knowledge to bring about weight loss. Now, weight loss is something that always happens almost as a byproduct of what's happened during the process or during the program, during the lifestyle change program. It was never our target to get people to lose weight, but it always happened as almost as a side effect of them restoring order in the body. So we're going to really focus on how we can help you to have a better understanding as to why or what was actually going wrong in your body that enables your body, A, to put on weight, B, to keep weight, and more importantly, C, what you need to do in order to reverse that process and get your body to naturally lose weight without you even trying. And that's the key thing that a lot of people really want to, tap into is how can we lose weight without trying? Well, the first thing you need to understand is how does your body put on weight? How does your body keep weight in the first place? Why does your body store fat? So that's the keys that we're going to share with you today. I hope you stay with me and follow me because we're going to get a lot of information. Make sure you've got your notepads and pens. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible and succinct as possible so we can make sure we get through everything by our designated time of 5 o'clock. We may finish a bit early. If we finish early, that'd be great, but we want to make sure we've got enough time for you to ask any questions or get any concerns addressed. So, next slide, please. Today, we're going to share with you the 5 keys to accelerated weight loss. The 5 keys to accelerated weight loss. These are the 5 things that we've discovered over years of research, years of working with clients with a whole plethora of different issues, ailments, chronic, acute conditions. We've been able to put together the main elements that we've seen time and time again and almost tried and tested to end up achieving the same results every single time. These are the things that we're going to share with you today and hopefully empower you with the tools and the tips and the information that you need to be able to achieve the same thing that we've been achieving for thousands of clients over the years. Okay, so what's number 1? Next slide. The first thing people may not realize or may not think about is epigenetics. Epigenetics spoken about a lot during the whole coronavirus situation, where they talk about the effect of genes and how genes like to express themselves and how viruses can interact with your genes. You have RNA viruses, you have DNA viruses. They're all about interfering with your gene expressions. And epigenetics is the understanding of that process. This is that actual process of genes interacting with your body, interacting with your environment, and interacting with your life. Now, genes control everything, whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not. Genes control everything. Just to give an example of how genes control everything, I'm sure everyone knows a friend who has the most horrendous diet. They probably eat the most junk food, processed food. They eat probably 4 or 5 times a day, and they never put on weight. I'm sure everyone knows somebody like that. But you yourself maybe could be that person that a small amount of food and your body mass goes up, it just spirals up straight away. Or somebody could, have a very fast metabolism, as you call it, and eat loads of food, but you eat only a small amount of food and try your utmost to lose weight, but nothing ever comes off. This is because there's a genetic impact. There's a genetic implication that a lot of people are not aware of. If you have this gene pool, or you have this, with genes are something that you turn on and turn off at any given time. Once you understand how to interact with your genes and the things that you can do to affect them to your benefit, you'll be very much more empowered in terms of how you can manage and control your weight. Now, there's actually a gene, it's a fat gene. Next slide, please, Gloria. There's a gene that actually controls fat and controls the body's ability to store or to burn fat. And without going into too much of a science lesson, that gene is called the FTO gene, which is part of the chromosome 16, without going to, to get too scientific. But that FTO gene, they call it the fat mass and obesity gene. So it measures and it regulates fat and your satiety, your ability to stay full. And some people have this gene turned on. When this gene is turned on, that means your body's in a mode of storing fat. When your body's in a fat storing mode, it means whenever you have anything that you shouldn't eat, your body's automatically already in fat storing mode. It's going to keep that. It's going to store it on your waist. It's going to store it in your midriff. It's going to store it on your bum. And it's going to store it in all the areas that you may not necessarily want to put on weight. Sometimes people don't mind having a bit of a big bum or having a little bit, more body mass. But when it gets, as you go past, 50, the body's ability to metabolize that and break down that additional fat, it gets weaker and weaker, and it gets lower and lower, and then it starts a problem. So this FTO gene, when it's in the fat storing mode, this is when people really struggle to lose weight. When people have that kind of situation, that means the fat storing, the FTO gene is constantly in the switched on position, which means whatever you try to do, how many times you go to the gym, however many times you try to exercise, however many times you try to diet, your body is being coded by the chromosomes to stay in a mode of storing fat. Whereas on the other hand, people that have a slightly different genetic makeup, they would have their FTO gene switched off. So they're always constantly burning fat. Their body's always constantly metabolizing fat. That's where we go back to that friend that I spoke about earlier, who no matter what they ate, their body was always able to metabolize it. And the long story short, they never ever put on weight. They maintain their same weight of maybe 10 stone or 9 stone, they have 8 waist. They maintain that from childhood pretty much right up to adulthood, because they have their fat storing gene, which was always burning fat, constantly switched off. So what we're going to look at today is the things that impact those genes and how you can turn that fat storing gene from the on position to the off position, so that you can have your body naturally working for you to naturally help you to lose weight. Next slide. Okay, without going into too much detail, genes are, everything is genetic, everything is about your genes, everything is about your DNA, everything is about your RNA. You have some people, like we see a lot of clients that come to us sometimes, they could be maybe 50 or 60 and they have no high blood pressure, no, or not diagnosed, no diabetes, no arthritis. But when I look at their scan, their body has a profile of somebody who should have this, who should have diabetes, who should have hypertension, and who should have arthritis. But they don't have it. They have maybe some issues with their stomach or issues with their gut, but they've reached about 60 where most people start to be experiencing some of these degenerative conditions. And the first thing I would always ask them is, how old is your mum? Or how old is your dad? And they would always tell me, my mum's about 85, or they say their mum's dad, or their mum's dead, or their dad's dead. The next question would always be, how old were they when they died? And they would always tell me that they were about 90, or 94, or 85. And I'd ask them, okay, if they said they were younger than 80, I would ask them, how old was your grandmother or your grandfather? And they say, my grandfather he lived about 93, or 99, or 101. They say, why do you ask? And I'll always tell them, because straight away from me looking at their profile and looking at their disease profile, I can say to them and see that they have what they call the longevity gene. They have this gene pool in their family where their body is programmed to sustain long life. When they have the long life gene, where other people may have had a 1/10 of the problems that they're experiencing, they'll probably be on medication, hospitalized, or in a very serious condition. But because they have the long life gene, it will take them a very long time for any of these ailments to catch up with them to the point where it's starting to interfere with their everyday life. So genes are everything, and genes have an impact on everything. So the more you understand about your genes, and the more you understand about your health, the more you understand about how you actually control whether your body puts on weight or how your body is able to lose weight, just by having a basic understanding of the genes. So just knowing that if you have a family member or someone in your family, in your generations that are very old, that live to a long life, then it's highly likely that you possess those same genes, that you would also be able to have a long life, and it will take a long time for any condition that you're experiencing maybe catch up with you. And that goes, same thing goes for weight and the weight-related problems. Next slide. Okay, all of these conditions are linked to weight. High blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, obesity, aneurysms, blockages in the arteries. These are all linked to weight, because as your body has these predisposition where it's constantly storing fat, this fat that it's storing is going to start to clog up your arteries. It's then going to start to clog up your veins. It's then going to start to cause problems with the body's ability to take nutrients up, and also for the body to be able to metabolize and break down fat. So again, this is linked back to your genes, but the genes is just it's just one thing. It's not all of them, it's just one thing. And once you start to see how sometimes your predisposition, your gene, the way your genes are set, are going to have an impact on what sort of diseases you have, again, this is going to be something that's going to help you to understand and how you're going to be more empowered in terms of keeping your weight and your health under control. Next slide. I'm going to ask you about this next person, and you can tell me if this next person in the slide has got their fat gene on or off. Next slide, Chloe. Okay. Has this person got their fat gene on, or they got their fat gene off? And more importantly, I'm going to ask you a question. How old, she's off here, how old do you think this woman is? You can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and tell me how old you think she is. 70? 80? How old is this woman?
She looks about 50, but she's probably older, I'm assuming.
Looks about 50, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. This woman, at the moment, she is 83. 83 is young. And clearly you can see, well done, Shirley, her fat gene is off. And how did she turn her fat gene off? Because she started to make lifestyle changes. Because one of the things that you would understand about genes is that your genes can be impacted and transformed or changed by your environment. So even in an environment where you have a lot of stress, you have a lot of negativity, you have a lot of anxiety, that's going to turn your fat gene on, because your body's going to start storing fat to almost try and protect your body. And also you're going to be prone to eating a lot of comfort food, a lot of foods that are processed, foods that have got, processed sugar, simple sugars, a lot of carbohydrates. This is going to keep your fat gene on. And the reason why you're going to keep your fat gene on is because the toxins that are going to come in as a result of having that food is going to force your body into a mode where they have to turn the fat gene on just so it can produce enough fat cells to store those additional toxins. So just keeping your diet and your lifestyle very negative is going to force your fat gene to stay in the on position. Now, this is Annette Larkin. Annette Larkin, she's on a plant-based diet. Yeah, she actually is. You know about it. Very good. Annette Larkin, she adopted a plant-based diet only at the age of 43, where she'd had enough of having high blood pressure, diabetes, and all the normal degenerative conditions. She adopted a plant-based lifestyle and made some significant lifestyle changes in a lot of areas. And it didn't happen overnight. It started off one step at a time. Now, as a result of she went from having her fat gene turned on to the fat gene turned off. She also started to turn off other genes. So she had aging genes. And you have the aging gene that you can turn on, and then you have the anti-aging gene, which can also turn on, which is a thing called telomeres, which is again linked to your body's ability to sustain life and to sustain youthfulness. So all these things are impacted by your genes, and this is what she made a decision to do, to change her diet, to change her lifestyle, and start to eat foods that are going to be promoting health internally and also promoting youthfulness inside. So her skin started to anti-age, her bones started to anti-age, her hair started to grow, her eyes, everything about her started to change and move in the right direction. She was able to start maintaining and sustaining life as opposed to degrading and degenerating life. So she wasn't subject to any more of those degenerative diseases. Now, Her husband, next slide, please. His fat gene, you can clearly see, is on. And this is what it's when your ear's hard. He had the choice to do exactly what she did, but he was exposed to, to talks like this and to seminars like this, and he saw his wife's own evidence of how she decided to change her life, change her diet, change the things she ate and the way she ate them. But he was happy to stay with the food that he was eating. He was a very, avid meat eater. He ate a lot of beef, he ate a lot of carbs. He went on to develop diabetes, went on to develop hypertension. And now I think he's suffering with some kidney problems as a result of the blood sugar not being able to be controlled. It started to go into diabetic neuropathy, where tissues start to break down, muscles start to break down, and it started to result in a plethora of different problems. So you can look at him, he looks his age. He looks about 80, 90. He actually looks about 90. Now, the reason I said that when your ear's hard is because a lot of people, they know what to do, but they sometimes choose, or let's say sometimes decisions are made for them, but they choose to do what they're used to doing. They choose to continue eating what they're used to eating, even though they know it's going to kill them. So he's got a lot of problems, and his wife, she's got none of those problems that he has. And when they walk down the street, people look at them and think, is that your daughter? So we are very much aware of the impact of recognizing the fat gene and the things that you can do to turn it on or to turn it off. And we use that as almost like a benchmark for when we put people on our programs, and we use our healing methodologies and healing protocols to get the body back into order so that the fat storing gene automatically turns off as a result of what's happening externally and internally around it. So your environment has a huge part to play on whether your body stores fat or if your body burns fat. So even things like watching the news, if you watch the news too much and every day you're feeding your body with information that's negative information, telling you about how many people died, how many people died in other parts of the world, this is going to put a lot of stress and cause your anxiety levels to go up, cause your cortisol levels to rise, which is also going to impact your genes. It's also going to impact your insulin. It's going to impact your blood sugar. This, again, is going to cause you to start eating because you want to get a quick fix. You want to bring your anxiety under control. What's her name? Her name is Annette Larkin. Annette Larkin. Look at Annette Larkin. Just type in Annette Larkin on Google and you'll see all the things that she did to change her diet, to change her lifestyle. And as I said, it was not done overnight. It was a decision that she took after realizing that enough is enough. She doesn't want to go for the rest of her life having no energy, having back pain, having joint pain, having to take medication. She decided that day at 43 years old that she's not going to live this life anymore. And she started to research, she started to get information, and she started to make the relevant changes. And this is how she is now, 40 years on, looking like she's 40 years or half her age, 40 years young. The genes is something that we really try to have a basic understanding of, so that we can, see exactly what the things that we do on a day-to-day basis that impact the ability to either store fat or burn fat. So watching the news or watching the wrong type of news is one of the things that's going to feed you that negativity, that's going to cause you to put your body into fat storing mode, because you're going to start eating the wrong foods. You're going to start having carbs. You're going to start having sweets. You're going to start having cakes. You're going to start having all sorts of foods that can help you to feel like you're in control. Because when you watch the news, it makes you feel like the world around you is leaving you behind and you have no control. So when you do things like shopping, it gives you a sense of I'm in control. I can eat what I want. I can buy what I want. I can spend what I want. This is why retail therapy comes into play when people are feeling quite stressed. You don't have to allow those, you have to use those. You really hear that noise? What is that noise? Okay, it's gone. Okay, well done. So that's number one. So the genes is number one. We've got 4 more. So let's look at how we can use these additional tools. The other 4, we've got them all together in one place. I'm going to take you through them one by one. The other 4 are part of our healing methodology that we put together that enables people to use their environment externally and use the information and the knowledge and the tools that they can bring the right things into their body, change the environment internally, which will then... Sorry, say again? Okay, you mute yourself. you hear me? Can you hear that awful noise? Okay, it's gone. Fantastic. So, interfere my flow. We're looking at the things that you can do that help you to put your body back into order, so you haven't got to worry about having to go to the gym, you haven't got to worry about going on a diet, you haven't got to worry about doing any of the things that you've been conditioned to do, that trained or that people have been trained to as the only way they can lose weight. Because we use the understanding of how to turn those to enable the body to be forced into a state where it naturally goes into fat burning mode as opposed to storing mode. Next slide, please. The gremlins are on point. Yeah, they don't want people to have this information. You're right, but we're gonna get it out there regardless. We're overcomers. Okay. Okay, please keep your microphones on mute as well. Just to make sure. Okay, I will mute everybody again. I'll mute everyone again, just to make sure they stay in mute. No, I don't want that one. Everyone's doing quite well. Everyone is muted. Fantastic. So we put together the other 4 keys. We put them together in a healing methodology that we've coined over the years called the HERN protocol. Now, the HERN protocol is HERN. It's 4 key pillars that we've seen over the years that once you've got these 4 pillars in alignment, there is no gene that your body is not able to impact. We've used these 4 pillars along with the understanding of the genes to be able to address and reverse diabetes, arthritis, weight gain, obesity, hair problems, skin problems, lack of sleep, lack of energy. You name it, we've used just these 4 keys along with the understanding of how the genes work, how the genes interact with your environment externally and what happens internally. We've used this to really, make some massive, massive changes to people's health and ultimately their life. So I'm going to quickly run through them very quickly. I'll spend a bit of time on each one just so you get the full understanding. Number 1 is hydration. Hydration is key. Hydration is critical. Number 2 is elimination. Number 3 is rest, getting the right amount of rest. And number 4 is nutrition. These 4 things will impact the body's ability to either go in fat storing mode or fat burning mode. If your body is dehydrated, i.e. it's lacking water, it's lacking hydration, it's lacking fluids to move toxins out of the cells, to move nutrients into the cells, to move waste from out of the blood, through the liver, into the bowels, this is going to cause all those additional toxins that are not eliminated to need a place to stay, which automatically forces the body to switch on that fat storing gene and create fat cells that can then store those toxins. Now, when that body starts to store those toxins will start to build up and inflammation will start to form as a result of that. And that's going to be like the beginning or the foundation for a whole wide number of different diseases. Number 1, you're going to get arthritis, you're going to get joint pain, you can get autoimmune diseases. All of these start from just, number 1, having low levels of hydration. So that's going to impact your body's ability to eliminate toxins. Number 2, elimination. Elimination is so important because the body needs to get rid of waste. The body builds up waste every day. The world around you builds up waste. Every day you eat food, you use things in your house, you open packages, you buy products, you're going to produce waste. And as you produce that waste, you're going to throw it into the bin. You're going to get the dustmen are going to come around once a week or whatever, once in every few days, and they're going to carry that waste away. So you've always got that clear cycle or that clear pathway to remove the waste from your house, from your kitchen, from the bedroom, from wherever you're creating that waste. You always have a pathway that you can remove that waste. Now the body does the same thing. The body needs to make sure all the waste that's created on a daily basis from your food, from undigested food, from toxins within the food, from things in your water, from contaminants, from pollutants, from things in the air, things that you breathe in, the liver has to process all of those and take out or remove all the impurities and put them in your bowels ready for elimination. Again, if your elimination pathways become blocked and they're not able to remove the waste materials, those waste materials now start to accumulate in the body. And how's the body going to store those additional excess waste? It's going to have to produce fat. It's going to produce fat cells. So guess what? Your fat gene is going to be turned on. It's going to be turned into overdrive. So when that fat gene stays on, it's going to be continuously producing fat cells in order to store the additional waste that you've not been able to eliminate. Number 3, rest. Your body has a rest cycle or a healing cycle that takes place every day, every night. It actually starts at 9 o'clock, but I'll come back to that in a second. But rest is really important. So every time your body's not resting, that means the brain is not getting to recharge, the eyes aren't getting to restore or regenerate, the lungs, the cells, so many parts of the body are reliant on you being able to get to bed and get the right amount of sleep so that organs in your body can regenerate themselves and keep you looking young like Annette Larkin. Rest is critical, but we help you to achieve that, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. And lastly, nutrition. The body has a daily requirement for nutrition or for nutrients. Now, everything is food, but not everything is nutrition. When you eat any kind of meal, the reason for the digestive process is so that the body has the ability to break down the foods to get into macromolecules and to be able to extract the vitamins, the minerals, and the nutrients that it needs to feed the cells, that they're going to feed the tissues, that's then going to rebuild your body and regenerate your new cells, your new skin cells, your new hair cells, your new eye cells, your new bone cells. Your whole body is regenerated by what you put in, but it has to take the key ingredients are extracted through the digestion process from your food. If you haven't got the right amount of nutrition, you're going to take a lot of food that's got a lot of processed elements or genetically modified elements or toxins in it. And when the body can't actually access any nutritional value from your food, although you've had a big meal, within a short space of time, you'll be hungry again because the cells haven't been fed. So the nutrition is the fourth part of this jigsaw puzzle that we put together that we found has been the 4 keys to helping people to eliminate waste or weight very quickly and very easily. And how we put them all together. Number 1, I'm going to go back to hydration. Hydration is one of the most critical elements of our lifestyle change program. Because we put all these things together in our lifestyle change program, where we use the HERN protocol as like the guide and almost like the Holy Grail, the Bible of what we do in order to bring the body back into balance, along with our products. Hydration is key. Why is hydration key? Number 1, the body is 70% water. Every single function in the body requires water in order for it to do its job properly. Where there's a lack of water, you'll find other genes get switched on. Again, this is something that's impacted by your lifestyle and your habits. And I'll give you a classic example. When your body doesn't receive a lot of water, because a lot of people don't like drinking water. In fact, they hate drinking water because the water doesn't taste nice because of all the impurities in it. So the body actually rejects it because the cells aren't able to receive the levels of hydration they require. So people naturally don't like drinking water. When you don't feed your body the water it requires to perform its daily functions, what the body does, it switches on another gene called starvation mode. How do you know your body has received enough hydration? Okay, let's first look at how your body reacts when it hasn't got enough water. It goes into starvation mode. When it goes into starvation mode, the body realizes that it's not going to receive the right amount of water it requires. When it realizes that that's happened, it switches on another gene that says any water we get, we need to store it. And when the body starts to store water, you get things or diseases called or conditions called water retention. Why is the body retaining water? Now they'll diagnose that as a symptom and say, let's treat you for water retention and they'll give you some diuretics. We approach that completely differently. Because if we can see that the body's in a state where it's storing water, that means the body has realized that it's not getting enough of the key core essential ingredient that it needs to perform its function. So whatever amount of water it does have, it's going to hold on to it. If you look at a cactus is in the desert. And the desert is a very dry and barren place where there's not a lot of water, it doesn't get a lot of rain. So with the little bit of water it does have, it has to store it in the stem. So if you notice, a cactus stem is very fat and very wide. When you look at somebody who has water retention, the ankles become very fat and very wide. Why? Because of gravity, the body says, I have to store the little bit of water that we have in the ankles. Now, how do we use hydration and our HERN protocol to eliminate things like water retention very easily? I'll tell you that in a second. Number 2, when you inadequate amounts of hydration, your body's ability to rest, because this hydration impacts all the other areas. Why does it impact your rest? Because when we want to get people to sleep and get to sleep uninterrupted throughout the night. We find a lot of our clients that come to us, they're suffering with insomnia or sleep deprivation, or they wake up in the night having uninterrupted sleep or having interrupted sleep. So in order for us to get them to sleep, one of the things we have to identify is what are the things that are preventing you from staying asleep during the night. And the highest thing that people report is that they wake up 2 or 3 times a night to do what? To go to the toilet. Immediately they tell us that they're waking up to go to the toilet, we straight away tell them, you're dehydrated, you haven't got enough hydration, you haven't got enough water. They would always argue, I'm sure some of you are shaking your head saying, no, it's because I've drank water late at night. And we always say to them, if you drink water late at night, why are you drinking water late at night? The reason you're drinking water late at night is because you haven't drunk enough during the day. Majority of people that have problems waking up in the night to go to the toilet, they normally wake up around 2 or 3 o'clock. Why do they wake up around 2 or 3 o'clock? Because that's when the body's naturally starting to repair the kidney and the bladder. And when it starts to repair the kidney and the bladder, because the bladder is weak, it hasn't had enough water going through it, the bladder muscles are very compromised, and they haven't got the strength to hold on to the water that the body's putting into it. They're supposed to hold on to it until the morning when you wake up. So what we find is that when we give people the HERN protocol as part of our program, within the first 7 days, the first thing we find out that people come back to tell us and report to us is that they're sleeping throughout the night and they're not waking up in the night anymore. But one of the things that we do is that we get them to drink at least between 4 and 5 liters of water every day, which they do creatively, using our products. When they drink 4 or 5 liters of water every day, people try to understand, they cannot work out, how have I drank more water than I've ever drank in my life, but yet I've not woken up in the night to go to the toilet. And the reason for this is most people are suffering with what we've coined over the years, a condition called UCD. UCD stands for unintentional chronic dehydration. Unintentional chronic dehydration. Most people are suffering with UCD. It's because their body is severely dehydrated, so a lot of things are malfunctioning or they're operating in a state of disorder. Now, when they drink the 5 liters of water every day that we get them to do as part of their program, you have your kidney and your bladder, they have 2 muscles that control their function. And those muscles are called the sphincter. You have the upper sphincter and the lower sphincter. These 2 muscles control the amount of water that the bladder can hold. Now, because you've not given those muscles any work to do during the day, those muscles have become very weak. Their ability to hold water is compromised, so as soon as the body puts any water, as it's cleaning itself overnight, as it puts any water into the bladder, straight the bladder says, I can't hold it. So it gets you up in the middle of the night, interrupts you, and takes you to the toilet. And 9 times out of 10, as I said, it happens around 3 o'clock because the body's working to bring the body to order at around that time. It's working on the kidneys. So when we increase the hydration levels, we increase their water through the program, get them drinking between 4 and 5 liters every day, we strengthen those muscles, we strengthen those bladder muscles and cause them to have a much greater capacity to hold water. And once their capacity to hold water is increased, the body's ability to stay sleeping during the night also increases. And people get quite blown away by the dichotomy of how drinking more water has enabled them to now stay asleep for longer. Again, this is linked to hydration. When the body's working to order, a lot of people, don't understand what order is, so they won't really know what disorder is. But hydration is one of the key things that we always stress as part of our program, but we incorporate it because we know if we told people to drink water by themselves, they would never do it. So we do it as part of the program, and we do it very creatively. The second most important key is elimination. A lot of people say that their bowels are working properly. My bowels work very well, my bowels work very good. Everyone believes they have a good control of their bowels or their bowel movements. Now, we always question them and challenge them on what they classify as good bowel movements. They think, well, I go 3-4 times a day, or I go 2-3 times a day. So the first thing you help us understand is, if your body is in a state of order, you would then know how far away you are from order. If you get into a state of disorder, you have to first know what order is to know how far you are away from that point. So the first thing we ask them is, what time do you wake up in the morning? And someone says, for example, they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And if they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll ask them, what time is your first bowel movement? They'll say, we have it about 11. Now, if they have their first bowel movement at about 11, I'd ask them, is it after you've had a drink? Is it after you've had some coffee? Is it after you've had some milk? Is it after you've had some cereal? Or after you've had some breakfast? They may say after they've had some breakfast. Now that to me shows that they've got a serious level of blockage and a serious level of disorder in the bowels. How do we identify that? Firstly, you have to let them understand what is order. I'm going to quickly take you through how the body should work so you can understand how hydration and elimination impact the body's level of order and impact the body's ability to turn the fat gene on or turn the fat storing gene off. Order. Now, 9 o'clock, every night at 9 o'clock, the body's repairman turns up with a natural anesthetic, just like when you see the tubes or the underground in London. When they, the last train comes in, you see all the workmen with their hi-hats ready to go into the tunnels and start fixing the lines and working on the tracks. The body does the same thing. At around 9 o'clock, the workmen come with their toolkit, they're ready to start working on the body and start repairing all the organs between the night and the morning. Just like the train tracks, they work overnight and in the morning they clear, the power goes back on, all the workmen leave and the train starts to run again. 9 o'clock, the repairman comes with his box of chicks ready to start repairing the body. He releases a hormone into the body called serotonin. It's almost like the body's natural anesthetic. Just like when they have an operation at the hospital, the anesthetist, she uses the anesthetic to inject the body, to put the body to sleep. But the body does all these things naturally. So 9 o'clock, the body releases the serotonin and the body starts to go around the body. So by 10 o'clock, the body starts shutting down. You start nodding off. You start nodding off. Why are you nodding off? Because the brain is now trying to shut you down so you can start the repair cycle to start repairing your body. So by 10 o'clock, your body should be nodding off, ready to go to bed. If you ignore that first wave of sleep, by 11 o'clock, you start to see your eyes starting to get red. Why are your eyes starting to get red? Because the blood is now rushing to the brain to start repairing the brain and repairing the eyes, repairing the sinuses, repairing the throat, and etc., etc. So 11 o'clock, your eyes will start getting red, and then you continue working or continue watching TV or continue reading the book or whatever you're doing on the computer, your eyes are now starting to burn. By 12 o'clock, you've now almost got a second wind. Maybe by 1 o'clock, you might give in and you finally go to bed. But when you go to bed at 1 o'clock, you've already missed 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours of critical repair work from your brain, your eyes, and all that section above. So let's keep going down now. So 12, 1 o'clock, it starts getting down to the throat, down to the heart, 1, 2 o'clock, the heart, then it starts getting to the stomach by 2:30. Then about 3 o'clock, it gets down to the kidney. It starts working on the kidney. It starts repairing the kidney, the bladder, and the urethra. 9 times out of 10, when we ask the women, what time do you wake up in the night to go to toilet? They always, 99% of the time say, we wake up around 2:30, 3 o'clock. I already know that why they're waking up, but I always ask them just to get the additional confirmation. So true, somebody said, yeah? Thank you very much for this. 2:30, 3 o'clock, they wake up around 2:33. Why? Because the body is now starting to repair the kidney and the bladder. When it gets to the bladder, it identifies the weakness in that bladder, in that area, because the muscles are weak, they've not been trained, they've not been exercised, they haven't got the capacity to hold the water that is required to hold until the morning when the dustmen come to relieve and remove all the waste. The other thing the body does, at 10 o'clock, when it starts to shut the body down, if you were to obey that healing cycle, straight away you see the matter, the glue, the body will form matter, it will start to glue your eyes together to make sure it keeps you asleep during the night. So while you're going through that healing process, that recycling, regenerating process, when it gets to about 4 o'clock, it starts to work on the bowels and the gut, removing all the waste into the bowels, ready for removal. So when you wake up now by 6, if you got to bed at the right time, 6 o'clock, 6:30, your eyes would naturally fall open. Why? Because the body says, I've completed my cycle, I've completed my work. It would naturally clear the glue away and your eyes will just fall open. That's why sometimes people wake up, if they wake up prematurely or they wake up without having had enough sleep, the one thing you notice that you've got a lot of matter. Your eyes are full of matter. You've got to clear the matter away because your body's saying, I've not had enough sleep, I've not had enough rest, I've not completed repairing you. If you wake up at 6 o'clock or you wake up at 7 o'clock and that's your natural time, your eyes fall open, while the body's working to order, automatically and naturally, the body is ready to get rid of all the waste that's been accumulated overnight. Naturally, if you wake up at 6, by 6:15 maximum, you should be in the toilet, having a bowel movement, getting rid of the waste, and opening your bladder. Every morning, that's what you should do. That's what we call order. So now we've identified what is order according to the body's natural mechanism of order. We can then start to see how far people are away from that biomarker. How far are you away from order? So we now ask the question now, we put it back into the same scenario and we say, right, what time do you wake up? They say, I wake up about 7 o'clock. I then ask them, what time do you have your first bowel movement? They'll say about 10. Now they can see that there's a blockage of 3 hours between the time when the bowels should open and when they actually do open. This is already a problem now. Somebody will think, well, I go 2-3 times a day, or I have a meal and I go about an hour later. Again, that's another problem. That shows that if you had a meal, which should take between 4 and 8 hours to go through your digestive system and come out the other side. If you have a meal and an hour later, you've had a bowel movement, that means there's already some waste that was sitting in there that's been pushed down, clogged down. Just like when when the train comes into the platform, the door should automatically open. If the doors don't open to let the passengers off and let the other passengers on, that means there's a blockage, that door is jammed. So we always help people to have a better understanding of how the bowel and what we classify as order and how far away they are from that order. So if you know that you wake up in the morning at 7 or 8 and you don't have a bowel movement till 10 or 12 or maybe once in the afternoon, or you have a bowel movement after you've had a meal, that shows you that your bowels are not working properly and your bowels are in a state of disorder. And it's only a matter of time before that disorder leads to a disease that's then going to present you with some level of symptoms. So this is why elimination is very important. It's a very important part of what we do, because as part of the HERN protocol, you get the hydration in. We also work on all the elimination pathways to make sure that those pathways are serviced and open and clear. What do we mean by that? We make sure we clear the bowels, we clear the colon, we work on the liver, we work on the kidney, all the organs that are responsible for eliminating waste from the body. We target those areas using products, using the hydration, and using the HERN protocol. Now, as a direct impact of that, guess what happens? We move into rest. Rest now, because sleep is so important, because that's the body's natural rejuvenation cycle, that's the body's natural regeneration process where the body actually heals itself overnight. Because we've impacted the hydration, we've impacted the elimination, we've taken away all the things that interfere with the body's natural sleep cycle, we put those areas back into order because we've strengthened the bladder, we've removed a lot of the waste, i.e. the parasites, the things that give you a lot of cravings. We've removed a lot of those through servicing the elimination pathways, removed a lot of the toxins out. Now, all the things that will interfere with your sleep cycle, either your food, not undigested, or the parasites troubling you, or the kidney, which is more important, causing you to wake up because your bladder was weak, that's all been removed. So automatically, the first thing you find is that your body's able to sleep uninterrupted throughout the night. Again, this helps the body to switch the fat burning gene on because it realizes that there's no threat from toxins. The food that has not been processed is now being processed properly. So again, it's got no reason to turn the fat storing gene on because it's not going to have any excess food or toxins that it's going to have to find a place to store. So these are some of the things that help to impact the fat gene or the fat storing gene and put it into fat burning mode as opposed to fat storing mode. But the longer that you find your body in a state of disorder, i.e. having food that's undigested, or bladder that's not working because the body's not able to regenerate itself properly, or toxins that have not been eliminated, or bacteria that's starting to grow as a result of the food that's been in the bowels or in the colon for too long, these are all things that force the body to turn that fat storing gene on because the body has to now find a place to store all these additional pathogens, all these additional problems that you've created or from what you had internally and from what you've done externally, or as a result of what's been happening externally. And then the last one is nutrition. Now, again, as we said, nutrition is key because the body is only interested in receiving the vitamins, the minerals, and the nutrients. And we always stress the importance of making sure that you get the food that you do feed the body is as close to its natural state as possible so that the body is able to recognize it and therefore it's in a much better position to absorb it. As soon as because food has enzymes, every food that's in its natural state is rich in enzymes, is rich in digestive enzymes, is rich in natural enzymes that the body can recognize and it can utilize to perform a lot of processes and a lot of functions within the body. But as soon as you cook, fry, bake, steam, boil, grill, any food, you kill all the enzymes. And once you've killed all the enzymes, the body no longer recognizes it as food. It now sees it as a foreign entity or foreign object coming in that's almost seen as a threat. So it causes a white blood cell rush that rushes the body because the organs feel they're under attack because they've got this foreign organism that's coming that has got no relationship to food. And it's going to cause all the organs to converge on that food to try its best to try and break it down. When that happens, when that process happens of the body trying to break down this food it doesn't recognize because it has no enzymes, when you finish having a meal, which is supposed to be fuel, because the body sees food as fuel, something that's going to use to provide you energy either then or later on. When it sees that this food that's coming in is not fuel, it's going to use all the available resources to try and break down that food, we'll call it inverted commas. When that happens, all your energy sources have been depleted while your body's working on trying to deal with what's coming to the gut. Now, when food is fuel, it's in its natural state or as close to its natural state as possible, it gives the body, you receive a lot of energy. You feel energized, you feel awake, you feel alert, you're like ready to get with your daily duties or do whatever you need to do. But most times, when people have had a good meal, what do you want to do afterwards? Sleep. You want to fall asleep. Why do you want to fall asleep? If you just had a big meal that's supposed to be filling your body with fuel, why is it that we always want to fall asleep straight afterwards? Again, because the body doesn't recognize it as food, it sees it as an attack, and it produces all the white blood cells, all the organs have to come, liver help me out, kidney help me out, we've got to try and break this down. And when you do that 3 or 4 times a day, that's going to put your body into a very weakened state, because all the energy that your body should be using to give you the energy to go about your daily duty, it's been depleted or it's been diverged or diverted to working on breaking down the food in your gut. And this is also something that impacts your body's ability to sleep at night because the body's too busy working on breaking down the food. So when we put these 4 key elements, is this why intermittent fasting works so well? Fantastic question. That is exactly why intermittent fasting works so well. That is exactly the reason why intermittent fasting works so very well, because intermittent fasting allows your body that opportunity to have all that food that it's not been able to digest properly. Once you stopped feeding it food for the 16 hours or 10 hours or whatever period that you choose to do your intermittent fasting, it allows all the staff, the available staff and the resources in the body to start working on breaking down that load, tidying it up, putting things where you can put them, breaking it down, metabolizing, digesting, putting stuff into the bowels ready for waste elimination, putting stuff into the bladder ready for urination, feeding the nutrients, whatever nutrients. It allows the body to absorb and to break down and to deal with a lot of the food that it's had to contend with throughout the day or throughout the week. When you have a period of intermittent fasting, you're allowing your body that time to regenerate and to rejuvenate and to recalibrate itself, hopefully to get it back into some state of order. So yes, intermittent fasting is a fantastic thing to do, and to do it as often as you can, but more importantly to do it with the right tools. Because one thing is stopping putting the wrong things in, which is great, but you have to remember you've already had a long period, sometimes many years, of putting a lot of bad things into your body that have now accumulated in your gut, in your bowels, in the joints, in your waist, in fat. And although you stopped putting those in for while you're fasting, you still got to contend with the problem of the accumulated buildup of toxins and waste and undigested food that's accumulated in your system over the years that's now contributing to 90% of your diseases. But within that process, the fat gene has been turned on into overdrive because the body's got so many things to contend with that there's no way it cannot produce fat, even as a protective mechanism to keep your body alive and keep your vital organs protected. Because if it sees every day more toxins come in, more pollutants come in, and they've not been broken down, they've not been digested, they've not been eliminated, in order to prevent the heart from being attacked or the liver from being overloaded or the kidney from becoming clogged or stones developing or gallbladder stones or gallstones, the body has to produce fat just to protect you and protect itself. So people walking around in fat storing mode, the body is in fat storing mode, and no matter what they do, diet, exercise, nothing is going to turn that switch from fat storing to fat burning onto eliminate those toxins and those threats or those things that the body sees as a threat to its natural survival. Because your body is designed to keep you alive and keep you going regardless of what you throw at it, but it always tries to do its best to maintain an equilibrium or maintain homeostasis. So it do whatever it has to do to make sure it can maintain that. And if it means keeping the fat storing gene turned on, then that's what we find a lot of people, they have as their default position. So these are the key 5 elements that we've identified that impact the body's ability to either stay in fat storing mode or to transfer into fat burning mode. And when we've used the HERN protocol along with our products and the program and the lifestyle changes I'm going to share with you just in a second, we've seen weight loss. As I said, weight loss is easy. Weight loss just happens automatically because the first thing that happens when we combine all these 4 together is the gene switches off. The fat storing gene switches off. Why? Because all these areas are being brought into alignment. Hydration is brought into alignment, elimination is brought into alignment, rest is brought into alignment, and the body's starting to receive the proper levels of nutrition or real food. So straight away, the body realizes it's no longer in threat mode, it's no longer in flight mode, it's now in restore mode, it's now in healing mode, it's now in living mode. It's no longer in dying mode and trying to keep itself alive. It's in living mode and thriving mode and keeping you young, keeping you energized, and keeping you youthful. Okay, I'm gonna take some questions after this section before I go into the next section. Okay, let's take a few questions now, because I know we just had a lot of information. So Errol, you got your hand raised. You wanna unmute yourself and ask a question? Let me unmute you. I don't know if I can find you, Errol. Do you know how to unmute yourself? We're going to take some questions for the end of this section. Before we move to the next section, we're going to take a few questions on what we've covered so far, just so we can make sure that you fully understand and have assimilated what we've shared. Okay, anybody have any questions? Let's go into the chat. I know some people will write some stuff in the chat. Okay, Errol, you want to unmute yourself? I saw you had a question. That way everyone can get some benefit from the answer. Errol? Okay. Who has a question? Okay, we're going to put them in the chat. Can you look younger than you are by doing this? Can you look younger by doing this? Absolutely. The reason why you look younger, because your body is always naturally trying to keep you young. While it's trying to keep you young, it's keeping you alive is about keeping you young. It's about regenerating your cells and rejuvenating and recycling those old blood cells and producing new cells. Every day, your cells, every 90 days, sorry, your cells, every 90 days, why you urge conflict? Okay, every 90 days, your cells should be new blood cells every 90 days. These new blood cells being produced every 90 days will depend very much on your ability to apply the HERN protocol. It will depend on how much hydration you've had, because the cells need water for them to metabolize the food, metabolize the toxins, to get rid of the waste, to take the nutrients in. If those cells haven't received the right amounts of hydration, those cells are not going to regenerate every 90 days. They might regenerate maybe every 180 days or every 300 days. So instead of your body getting younger, your body's going to start to age. So this has a massive impact on your body's ability to stay young. This is why when you look at Annette Larkin changed from a catabolic state into a regenerative state. So instead of a body being in catabolic, which has been breaking down, it was reversed into building up, which was regenerating and rejuvenating, reproducing new cells, healthy cells that will always keep her youthful and young looking. That's why she looks like she's about 40, while her husband looks like he's about 85. Okay, question, is not enough hydration the reason why you urge incontinence as well? Incontinence, again, is linked to that, but this is because there's a build-up of that state. Where your bladder's been weak for a long time, there's often other elements that are involved. Oftentimes, it could be linked to bacteria. It could be linked to if your bowels have not been moving properly, so the bacteria have now built up. That's caused a lot of inflammation. And if that build-up of waste that's not eliminated starts to back up and starts to escape into the blood, then that blood is now carrying toxic blood and toxic organisms, which will then start to impact and infect other tissues, including the bladder. So if the bladder starts to get weak, it's no longer going to function according to its proper level of order. So incontinence could almost be a symptom of that. So yes, increasing the water, but there's be other things that you need to do as well. There needs to be an element of detoxification and a lot of nutrition or nourishing the body to make sure the body has the tools to repair the actual underlying problem. How long does it take to eliminate all the bad factors, i.e. toxins, from your organs and your body? Very good question. We have successfully eliminated a lot of toxins to the point where we've had significant, changes in their health, in their weight, in their agility, in their vitality within 21 days. Generally within 21 days, done as a lifestyle change program, incorporating the HERN protocol and the other lifestyle change that we encourage and recommend people to make. But when they incorporate these along with the HERN protocol, 21 days, people have been able to get rid of a plethora of toxins, and people are always quite shocked at how quickly they see changes. I've had a client, she had sciatica for 9 months, back pain, serious back pain for 9 months. We put her on the HERN protocol and a lifestyle change program, and she was almost shocked that within 24 hours, her back pain had reduced by 80%. Within 48 hours, it was 90%. Within 72 hours, her back pain had completely gone. Now, she was so shocked that it happened so quickly, she was thinking to herself, no, this can't be true, this can't be right. You can't heal something that's been there as a problem for 9 months completely in 3 days. So she was scared to open her mouth and say anything or tell people because she thought it's gonna come back. But it never came back. Why did it not come back? Because the body's always fighting to get into order. The more you can do to help it get into that state of order is the quicker the body will start to repair you and give you exactly what you need and start to get rid of all those symptoms that are being diagnosed as diseases or conditions. These are the symptoms, but none of them are actually addressing the disorder. So once you've gone in and you've targeted all those disorders simultaneously, people are always shocked and surprised at how quickly the body's able to return back into order. And we have so many people, so many testimonials, even on our YouTube channel. You go to our YouTube channel, Go Juice Detox or Vivo Nutrients on YouTube, and you'll see video after video after video of testimonials of people that have achieved high levels of health in very, very short spaces of time. And weight loss was always one of those things that happened almost as a side effect. Okay, how long does it take to eliminate all the bad toxins? Right, let's get to the next one. I missed the part when you said when you should have your first bowel movement. Can you remind me? Your first bowel movement should be within 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes of you waking up. So whatever time you wake up, when your body is working to order, your bowel should move ideally within 15 minutes, ideally maximum 30 minutes. And that means without you having to have water or have some hot lemon or have some cup of tea or have some cereal, it should not need any help. If your bowels don't move within that half an hour, then there's a level of blockage. And the longer it takes from the time you wake up to your bowels first move, that will determine the level of blockage that your body is experiencing at that time. And this is your first sign that something is going wrong internally, that you need to start putting the right interventions in place to prevent that from building up to becoming something a little bit more sinister. Okay. Right, should be with 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Oh, good, who answered that? Somebody's been paying attention. That's right, it said doing it should be 15 to 30 minutes after you get up. Very good, I like it. Okay, I think that's what I heard. No, you're absolutely right, Cher. Thank you very much, very good, very good. Okay, Pauline, how does one cope with doing shift work in terms of getting to bed at 9 a.m. or socializing, etc.? Okay, good question. When you do shift work, your body is actually working in the reverse. Your body's working in the upside down mode. And most of the time when people come to us with doing night work and having a lot of different problems, the first thing we say to them is try and change your job. That's the first thing. There's no, nice way about it. Try and change your job because you're working against the body's natural rhythm of order. When the body should be sleeping, the body's awake. When your body should be awake, the body's sleeping. So the first thing we say, try your best to get off the night shift and get some day shifts, or get a job that's going to be more conducive to your body staying healthy and staying well. Because the longer you stay in that condition, is the shorter your life will end up being in the long run. Because the longer you keep your body in a state of disorder, is the quicker the disease will start to mount up, and this other levels of disorder will start to follow one by one, step by step, stage by stage, unless you have a good knowledge or access to a lot of good supplements that you can take to offset some of the deficiencies and the areas that have not been able to access the irrelevant repair. You've got the right amount of supplements and the right amount of tools and the right amount of nutrients to feed those areas that have been starved for so long through not being rested. Or if you try to compensate by sleeping at least 6 hours during the day. If you work nights on a regular basis, try and get at least 6 to 8 hours sleep during the day, and try and do all the things that you do at night during the day. Make sure you've got blackout on your curtains. Try and make sure if you haven't got curtains with blackout, invest in some blackout, £15, maybe £100 to get them sold, but it's a worthwhile investment to make sure you've got the right tools to make sure you can create that environment where the brain is believing that it's in sleep mode and it'll start to do the things that it should do while the body is asleep. How do you cope with doing shift work and getting to bed at 9 or socializing? Now, socializing, again, is something that, they say when you're a child, you do childish things, but when you become a man or become an adult, you do adult things. Most people, they spend a lot of their early days or their early years raving and, really abusing their body and going out, coming at 4 or 5 in the morning. I used to do the same for myself. I used to do a lot of events and, get back in at 5, 6 in the morning, every Saturday or every Sunday morning. I never even knew what Sunday afternoon looked like for about 3 years. One day I went to Vauxhall Market on a Sunday afternoon when I had a night off. And I was like, wow, how long has this market been here? They said, about 20 years. I was like, are you serious? I had no idea that so many things happen on a Sunday that because I'm always sleeping, trying to recover, I was missing out on so many other activities that were happening on a Sunday because I was in that repair. My body was trying to repair or trying to recover from the debauchery or the abuse that I'd subjected to the night before. So you get to a point where you realize that this is taking its toll on your body. And if you continue, being up late at night, drinking alcohol, being in a smoky environment or being in an environment where, it's very damaging to the body. There's only a certain amount of time the body can withstand or stay in that condition before something drastic starts to happen or starts to break down, especially your liver. Your liver will start to break down. Your brain will start to break down because you'll never get enough sleep. Your eyes will start to deteriorate because your eyes will get prepared first. You'll find the first thing you notice is that your eyes will start to go. I'll give you an example. If you're a person that goes out or you're up late every night, you wake up in the morning feeling tired. If you were to do one night or one day where you went to bed early, like about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, that next day you'd wake up feeling so refreshed. You'd be like, wow, how could one early night have such an impact on my health and my well-being? And that's just having one night. So if you were to do that 2 times or 3 times a week, you'd find that your energy levels will completely transform. Your body's ability to regenerate itself will be greatly impacted. Your fat burning will greatly accelerate. So many things will change just from you going to bed early. So what we say to people that have a habit of going to bed late, we say, okay, if you normally go to bed at, 1 o'clock every night, one of the things we give them as a working method or working system they can use is by saying, I'm going to go to bed 15 minutes earlier every night. So if I go to bed at 1 o'clock tonight, tomorrow night I'm going to go to bed at 12:45. The next night I'm going to go to bed at 12:30. The next night I'm going to go to bed at 12:15. Then 12 o'clock. So by the end of the week, you've already taken off an hour off the time that you normally go to bed. You're going to bed at 12 o'clock instead of 1. Then you continue, 11:45, 11:30, 11:15. Before you know it, you're at 11 o'clock. And you're going to be, every time you do those incremental changes, you're going to feel an amazing difference just from each half-hour segment that you've added on to the time you've gone to bed. And then eventually your body will go into that mode naturally because it really wants to get back into order. So the more you help it to go into that state, is the quicker it will start to do the things it should be doing had you been in there in the first place. Okay, next question. Can you reverse long-standing issues you've had for years and years? Absolutely, absolutely. We've had so many people. We had a lady, she came in with a cough she'd had for 30 years. 30 years she had that cough. Doctors had tried everything. She'd been to all the specialists. She'd been to all the Harley Street doctors. She'd been to all the hospitals. Everyone had tried to diagnose or try to fix or solve her issue of this cough that she'd had for 30 years in her lungs. She came, somebody referred her to us, scan, we put her on the machine, we looked up, we did a bacteria scan, so all the bacteria came up. And this very interesting bacteria came up that I've never seen before. So, and it was the highest bacteria. So I started to look up this bacteria, and when it turned out this bacteria came from birds. So I asked her, have you ever had a budgerigar or a bird? She said, no, it wasn't a budgerigar, it was a cockatoo or cockatiel. I was like, excuse you. Anyway, I said, how long have you had this cockatiel? She said she'd had it basically about 20 years. And what happened to it? She died 10 years ago. 20 plus 10, 30 years. So basically, in that time she's had that bird had passed on a bacteria to her that was lodged or multiplied in her gut, blood, and it was obviously giving her a cough because the body was trying to get rid of it. That's why she's always having that cough for 30 years. First of all, we've identified where the problems come from. We've identified the disorder. So straight away, we knew exactly what needed to be done to correct that disorder and remove that bacteria, remove all that, the buildup of those toxins of that particular strain via the cleanse and using the HERN protocol. Within 7 days, we used our respirate, the lung support, the respirate lung drain because it kills off bacteria and viruses very, very well, as well as doing the HERN protocol. Within that cough had gone, never to be seen again. So 30 years problem, gone in 7 days. This is how quickly the body wants to return you back to order. Right, question from Andrea. Is it possible to rewatch yesterday and today's summit? Hopefully, I think we are recording. We're recording. Yes, you'll be able to see it. We'll share it. Because you've registered, we've got your email details, so we'll be able to share the details with you. No problem at all. What is actually happening in the body when you're lying there from midnight to 4 a.m. and midnight and you can't shut down? Okay, a very good question. Okay, we've got about 5 more minutes of questions. What's happening when the body, you're lying there from midnight to 4 a.m. in the morning and you can't shut down? You've got a number of things that could be happening there, Shirley. One, it could be your Wi-Fi impacting you. I wonder if Sophia's on here. If you're here, Sophia, let me know. One could be your Wi-Fi, because when you have a Wi-Fi continually beaming, or even portable phones, portable hand phones in the house, or mobile phones, the brain receives, even though your house could be in darkness or your brain could be in darkness, the brain perceives the Wi-Fi as light. As far as concerned, there's still light on because it perceives that signal as light. So the brain is not completely shut down because it's still being stimulated by the outside environment. Again, this is why I say the genes are affected by your immediate and your surrounding environment. So the Wi-Fi could be a factor. If you've got plugs near your bed, electric mains plugs near your bed, especially when they're switched on, they give off a lot of radiation. Televisions in your room. If you've got in your room, mute yourself, please, whoever's got their phone in the background. If you've got television in your room, that gives off a lot of radiation. You're on your phone or on your tablet late at night, looking at it, you've got the brain really stimulated. So when you put the tablet away, your brain is still highly stimulated and still ready to receive and process information. Although you want to shut down and sleep, the brain says, no, I'm fully awake, I'm fully stimulated. So these are just some of the things that could be impacting your body's ability to sleep or shut down between midnight and 4. Also, there could be food that's in your gut or stimulants that are in your blood still running around and impacting your brain, because if you had like things like coffee or things containing caffeine or foods that contain stimulants or E-numbers, preservatives, processed food, these things all have an impact on the brain's ability to shut down and perform its function. So the longer it stays in that state of disorder is the more chance you have of developing later problems further down the line. One of the things you'll notice is that your eyes will start to deteriorate, your temper, you won't be able to control your temper as much because you haven't got as much control. Your cortisol levels are raising, so your anxiety levels are raising. So your fuse is very short. You've got a very short fuse because you've not been able to rest your brain. So there's so many things that happen as a knock-on effect of not being able to shut your brain down. But we're more interested in what are the things that could be impacting that, so we can target those areas and get your body back to sleep as quickly as possible. Ernestine, okay, people in show business don't go on stage until 11 p.m. or later. No, that's fine, but you can always catch up. You can always catch up. The nights where you're not working every night, your body would naturally be very, very grateful for the night or the few nights that you give it to rest and recover. That's why even people that are on the road, that are on tour, they'll go on tour for maybe 2 weeks and your body will keep you going because the adrenaline will kick in. Again, it's another gene. Your genes will always be for it. Dawn, if you mind turning off muting your phone, please, muting your phone or your laptop. Your body will always respond to whatever you throw at it because your body is always designed to keep you going regardless of what situation it finds itself in. So if you're on the road doing shows every night, the one thing you want to do is when you finish your shows, normally you get a cold or you get some kind of flu because your body's been keeping you going all that time. But as soon as it realizes that you're not demanding it to work anymore, it says, right, we're going to go on holiday, we're going to go and regenerate, rejuvenate ourselves. So you become run down, you might get sick. It doesn't mean you're actually sick, it just means your body's trying to repair itself, but it needs to take that opportunity to eliminate all the toxins and get rid of all the waste that's built up and it's been dealing with it, but it's been managing it while it's been keeping you going. So as soon as you slow down, your body says, right, it's time for us to do a clean out so we can get you back to as much order as we can, so you can then go on to your next roadshow or your next tour and have full functional capacity. Okay, last question before we move on. Why would you wake up after approximately 2 hours sleep when going to bed at approximately 11 o'clock and find it hard to fall back to sleep, like for a good 3 hours? Again, this is as a result of the buildup of toxins in your body. If you've managed to get yourself to sleep, say 11 o'clock, and the brain, let's look at when the body works to order. 11 o'clock, you've shut down, the brain's gonna be working on the eyes, the nose, the throat. And you wake up at what? 2-3 hours later, so that means 12, 1, 2. So straight away that suggests there's a problem between here, your throat, and your heart. If I was to ask you, Cher, do you have any issues with your throat? Do you have any issues with your heart, your lungs, your breathing? Are you asthmatic? Do you have any issues between this area? Because that's the time when these areas are being impacted. 11, you said you wake up at 1, so 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so between your throat and your gut, your esophagus, your bottom of your esophagus. If you have any issues in those areas, these are showing that there's some malfunction there, there's some disorders happening in there, and the body's not able to get past those disorders. So it'll be very hard for you to go back to sleep because the brain is still working, trying to repair those areas that it's now identified where there's an issue. That's number one. Number two, it could be things that are in your blood that have been in your blood for quite some time. And although you've been able to get to sleep, in order to stay asleep, you've got to be able to keep those areas, because obviously the body's always trying to repair the blood vessels and repair your heart and repair your organs and your arteries overnight. So if there's a lot of impurities in your blood that are constantly affecting you, when you fall asleep, then you wake up, these things become more apparent, because that means your body's actually trying to repair them, and you've got that toxic blood now going to the brain, which doesn't allow it to shut back down and go back into a sleep cycle. Okay, do you have salt lamps? Do you have a view of salt lamps, which is supposed to neutralize the atmosphere, including electrical frequencies in the room? So they say. Now, some of these questions, I'm going to come to them at the end, time permitting. Salt lamps are good, but they generally tend to fill up. When they've taken enough radiation and enough impurities out of the environment, eventually they will fill up. So you've got to try and find out or be aware how much toxic load you're subjecting these salt lamps to. And when those salt lamps become overloaded, you're now left with a salt lamp that's looking like it's doing anything, but it's not actually performing any function. It's like when you get your Hoover, you've hoovered up all the rubbish for like 3 weeks or 3 months, but now the bag is full, that Hoover is no longer effective because it cannot take any more rubbish because it's already reached its capacity. So salt lamps are the same. Once they get to that stage where they've absorbed all the toxins and all the negative energy they can, then they're no longer going to be able to be protecting you or protecting you from the damaging or the dangers in your environment. Okay, salt lamps are very beneficial dawn, as well as a range of plants to absorb radiation. Yep, they're good. Okay. Is that Sophia? Hey, Sophia! She's here. Okay, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna quickly go on to the solutions next, and I'm gonna bring you in. Is this Sophia? Yes, it is 008. Hey, Sophia, come and say hi. Don't even know you're here.
Hey, I've been here for about an hour.
Oh, wow. Oh, my days. Oh, thank you so much.
I was playing student like everybody else.
Oh,
and this
excellent.
is, and you know something, it's the funniest thing. That's the power of learning, right? You listen, you know stuff,
Yes.
you get yourself, and you continue and stay in education, and you always learn something. You always learn something, you always pick up something new. So it was good sitting back and having a listen for it.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Oh, wow. Oh, such a pleasure having Sophia back online. Thank you so much for that. So it's true, you know, learning is continuous. You know, we learn right up until we die, because, you know, education is never something that you just finish once you've gone to school. There's so many things that you can learn. There's so many things that we don't. One of the things we don't learn anything about is our bodies. That's why we're able to be deceived by doctors and people that are so-called got all knowledge, and they make us think we know nothing, and that's how they're able to deceive us and put us into situations that are not necessarily for our long-term well-being. Okay, so let's move on. Next slide, please. Oh, wow, she got there already. Thanks so much. Let me move that over. So now before we go there, go back to the one first. Let's go backwards. You can just use the arrow forward and backwards. Okay, so let's look at some of the tools that we use alongside or within HERN protocol. We have a lot of products, a lot of tools that we've devised over the years that are very effective at impacting these areas that we've identified, you know, within the body that normally get into a state of disorder, that will lead to disease, that will lead to sleeping problems, that will lead to kidneys not working. All these different areas all require different types of foods to help them to return back to normal function, or in health terms or disease terms, back to order. And let's start with the one in the corner, the one I like the most. Let's go to my favorite product. Where are you? Okay, the bottom right-hand corner. I'm gonna just quickly run through some of these products and what they do and how we use them as part of the HERN protocol. First, let me tell you why we do them as part of the HERN protocol. We always do, our programs as a combination, as combos. We never ever advocate for people to subscribe to that belief that any one product can solve all your problems. Because your body is a multifaceted organism that consists of many different organs, and within those organs there are many sub-organs that all require different tools and mechanisms in order for them to function at their optimal level. So there's no one silver bullet that can solve all your problems. No one cat fits all, or no one quick fix that you take this one tablet or one capsule or one product and everything can be solved from that one product. We always encourage taking things in combinations, because every problem is always linked to another area or linked to another organ that's always going to need help or support in some way in order to support the other organ that's the one you're actually targeting. So the more you can have going into the body is the quicker you can return your body back to order. That said, I'm going to take you through some of our key products that we use to really help the body to get back into its state of order in the shortest possible time, and more importantly, to switch on that fat burning gene. Now, or that switch the gene into fat burning mode as opposed to fat storing mode. The first one we use is for elimination. It's Oxyflush in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, Oxyflush is a key product, it's one of our best products, one of my favorite products, and it's one of the products that really goes in and does a lot of the donkey work. Why? Because the Oxyflush is renowned for its ability to go into the colon, into the bowel, break waste matter, break down all the fecal matter that's accumulated there, and turn it into liquid. And overnight, while the body's in that natural rejuvenation mode and regeneration cycle, while it's removing the waste from out the blood, out the tissues, out the cells, out the organs, and putting it in the bowels, where there's blockage in the bowels, that process is not going to take place properly. So when you wake up in the morning, you're still going to have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before your bowels move, or you may have a bowel movement on time, but then you have another one an hour later, which shows that there's still a level of blockage. What the Oxyflush does, it goes in and it breaks down all the waste, all the fecal matter, and it turns into liquid, and you pass it out in the morning as a gentle watery stool. You can have maybe 2 or 3 bowel movements, but it clears all the accumulated waste that's built up over the years, and it eliminates it very quickly and very efficiently, without any pain, without any side effects, without any of the normal aches and pains that come with a lot of products that profess to do the same. The other thing that I like about the Oxyflush is its ability to do both the large and the small intestine. Well, both the large and the small. Got to be at home. Got to be at home. Oxyflush. You don't always have to be at home. You can control it. The amount of times you go. We generally say do it for 5 days, have a break for 2, and then go back to it, just to let your bowels get back to working normally. If you do go more than 3 or 4 times, you can reduce the dose and have maybe half a teaspoon, and you might go maybe once or twice. But once you've got the level that you're happy with, then you can stick to that dose and do that continuously. But the great thing about it is that it eliminates bloating. You find within a couple of days, bloating is gone. Any kind of stomach issues or constipation, any issues to do with the gut. Now, the gut is one of the central areas where most problems start from. And once we're able to target that area as part of the HERN protocol and the elimination process, we find that results are sped up by at least 70%. And the reason why it speeds up by 70% is because 70% of the immune system is situated in your gut. So the more you can get rid of toxins and pathogens from the gut, is the quicker all the other areas can be serviced by those immune cells that have been freed up as a result of no longer having to deal with or contend with the toxins that are overwhelming them. The next one is Elixir of Life. Elixir of Life is another fantastic product. It's very viable if you're going to work. If you're going to work, people can take it and go to work. You can take it and you can go maybe 2 times in the morning. The main thing is that finding your dose that works with you. Everyone's body is different. All the parts are organic. Somebody may take a product and they go 5-6 times from 1/2 a teaspoon. Another person may take it, they take a full dose, 1 whole teaspoon, and they only go twice. everyone's body's different. So once you find what works for you, you'll find you may be able to go maybe 1 or 2 times in the morning, and you're happy with that, and you're off to work, and it doesn't interfere with your day. But it's really important that you keep your gut clean and keep your bowels clean, because that's where all the problems start from. So the quicker you can get that area cleared out, is the better it'll be for the rest of your body to fall into line. Now, the Elixir of Life is a fantastic product. Why do I love Elixir of Life so much? Because the Elixir of Life is a natural earth mineral. Again, it's from Peru, and it's full of silica, it's full of minerals, it's full of zinc. It's a great product, and it does so many things because it impacts so many different pathways. One of the things it does, it kills parasites. It takes parasites out of your gut. It takes a lot of worms and tapeworms out of your gut. It actually suffocates them. It also helps to nourish your bones, because the silica content helps to produce collagen. So it really helps to nourish your bones and nourish your joints. So your joints, this is why people, when they take these products together, 1 day, 2 days, arthritis pain gone, joint pain gone, knee pain gone, back pain gone, because they put all these products into the body simultaneously, and the body has no choice but to fall into alignment and to get back into order. Elixir of Life is also good for the muscles, the tissues, for joints. We've had a client in Leeds, he's an old elderly Englishman, about 70 years old. Before lockdown, he was due for a triple bypass operation. His wife only ever gives him Elixir of Life. She buys about 25 packs every 2 or 3 months. She gives it to all her family. She called me the other day in March, because he was going to have his pre-operation assessment for the triple bypass. And they said, oh, he only needs to have a stent now, which is a huge jump from going from having a triple bypass to now only having a stent. He's been taking Elixir of Life continuously, and obviously it's built up the collagen, and collagen pretty much holds the body together. So while he's been taking the collagen, the Elixir of Life, sorry, his heart has been nourished, and the ability for the heart to start repairing itself using the natural tools and natural resources has really helped him to bring his heart back into order. Another good thing it's good for, because of the silica content, is great for helping people try to grow their hair. People that try to grow their hair, they find that, and this is all based on feedback we've had from clients who've been using it over the years. They've come up and told us that every time they go to a hairdresser told them, oh, what's been into your hair? The hair's got a lot thicker, the hair starts to regenerate, because obviously every day your hair, you lose 100 hairs, but your hair's meant to grow back 100 hairs every day. When your body's in the right state of order, if you lose 100 hairs, you grow back 100 hairs. When you're in a state of disorder, you lose 100 hairs, but you might grow back 70. You might grow back 60, or you might grow back 50. Depending on what your level of your disorder is, that will determine how many hairs you grow back. And what's happened as a result of that is that your hair starts to thin, and eventually your hair will start to go bald. So once you've got the right nutrients, the right minerals going in, you'll find that your hair starts to get a lot thicker, and the quality of your hair also starts to change. Now, Dawn, I know you're burning. You've got a burning question. This is one of your favorite products. Go ahead. I know you've got a question. Go ahead quickly, Dawn. Unmute yourself. Dawn Gager. Go ahead, Dawn.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying I've got an issue with it, because I want to put it every time I drink water. If I was to put a teaspoon of that in a litre of water, I could drink up to 10 litres of water a day. If I don't have that in the water, I'm not interested. It's like it's become a drug.
That's a healthy testimony, but you know what, Dawn? It's actually a very valid point that you made there. What she said, basically, someone didn't hear what you said. She said, basically, when she has the Elixir of Life.
No, I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm very addicted to it. Once I'm running out, I get all panicky. I'm to say I've got to have it every single day, and I've become addicted to it. And I've been putting in normal drinking water, so I drink loads of water. If I don't put it in the water, I won't drink water.
Yes, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because one of the things that the Elixir of Life does, it suffocates parasites. It suffocates them. How does it suffocate them? Because it dehydrates them. When it dehydrates the organisms in your body, guess what? It's also going to dehydrate you.
It does.
It does. It's a great product for encouraging. This is why we're very creative about getting people to drink water. It's a great product at encouraging people to do something that they hate doing, which is drink water. If you're forced to drink water by your own body, then you've got no choice but to give your body what it needs. So this is why it's a great product to give to children, because it gets rid of parasites, it gets rid of worms, it helps to get rid of your cravings, helps to curb your cravings, especially for sweet foods, carbs, and things that you shouldn't really be eating that are going to put a lot of more problems in your body and more strain on your immune system. Elixir of Life really helps you to bring those cravings and those desires under control, because it's killing off the parasites and killing off the worms that are the ones that are responsible for those same cravings. So it's great for that. It's great for sleep. So it helps you sleep as well. It helps you have a much more deep and restful sleep, because it's getting rid of the parasites that always come alive at night, or often come alive at night when you get the munchies, you want to go raid the cupboard or raid the fridge at late hours of night, get looking for something sweet. It helps get rid of those, and very, very good at just bringing order into the body internally. Okay, the next one is the Ultra Detox. Another great product, very, very bitter tonic, very good for working and stimulating the whole of the digestive system. It's got things like curcumin in there, it's got black seed oil in there, it's got black pepper, it's got hyssop, a lot of essential oils in there as well, along with the dandelion and burdock. It's a very iron-rich product, so it's very good for stimulating the liver. It really helps to remove a lot of fat from the fatty liver. People that suffer with fatty liver, it really cuts through the fat. It's also another great product to help stimulate the kidney, to help to increase the urination, because it's got a lot of diuretics in there. Amazing product. It's also got about 3 different types of wormwood. Another great product for getting rid of worms and getting rid of parasites, and it's taking out the impurities that the body doesn't need and allowing the body to get back into that state of order a lot quicker. Then we've got the brain juice. Brain juice is an amazing product because it helps increase the blood flow to the brain, helps improve your memory, helps improve your cognitive function. I see Sophia nodding her head. Go on, Sophia. Why you like this product? Tell me about the brain juice, because I know you're a brain specialist. Tell us about the brain juice.
Oh my goodness, the brain juice is my favorite. Every product's my favorite. Elixir of Life is my favorite, but brain juice is my absolute favorite. And those of you that know me know that I've had neurological issues, and so if I can make sure I'm maximizing blood flow to my brain, then I'm good to go. So hydration, obviously, all of the aspects that Erin already spoke about with the HERN protocol, but on a day-to-day basis, being able to boost that supply to the brain is just amazing. And the thing, and it's interesting, obviously for me, I can scan myself anytime I want and know when there's any changes. But other people, you may not have any idea that you've got a reduction of blood flow to your brain. You may not realize that the lack of hydration is meaning that you're not getting sufficient hydration, oxygen, or nutrients to your brain.
Very true.
And it takes a little while before you start to get any symptoms. So brain juice, I would say, is before you get any symptoms, be taking that. You can be taking that as a daily supplement, because it's just that powerful.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Soph. Brain juice, I love the brain juice, but I particularly love the brain and nerve support. The brain juice is very, full on. It gets to the point, gets the blood levels up, gets the brain functioning, gets, the old grey matter ticking. Brain and nerve support, which is like the children's version that we do for children, especially children that suffer with ADHD. It's a very good product at helping children, low concentration, to really help them to get their concentration levels back in line. Dawn, if you can put your phone, I'll do it. So it really helps people to put their children who've got issues with concentration back into a level of concentration that it allows them to really focus on their schoolwork. It also allows them to participate more effectively and positively during class, engagement, conversations. And the few children that have used it, that we've had feedback from, is the school actually called the parent, and the parent was worried, thinking, oh, what's my son done? They said, no, we want to tell you that your child's schoolwork has greatly improved. Or another teacher called the parent to say, your child's concentration has skyrocketed. They always use very, very large descriptive terms to highlight how much of an impact that they've noticed in a child's behavior when they're using the brain and nerve support. It's one of the products I favor, again, because it helps you to really get that concentration levels when you've got a lot of things to do with a lot of different areas and different people to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It really helps you to focus. One last thing I'll quickly say about Elixir of Life is that, especially when we're dealing with a lot of radiation, one of the things that I really like about Elixir of Life is that its ability to take out the heavy metals out of your blood, and it prevents radiation from entering into the cells, because it's almost like having bricks. Like when you're in your house, the radiation can't penetrate through your walls. In the same way, because it's actually from the earth, it's an actual earth mineral. In the same way, when you have the Elixir of Life in your blood, radiation finds it very hard to actually get into your cells. So it's almost like a radiation shield for your body and for your blood. While it's doing all the other good things that it's doing, it's protecting your cells from receiving the damage from external sources of radiation, i.e. your mobile phones, your Wi-Fi, other people's Wi-Fi, phone antennas, etc. So all the things that will cause damage to your cells and cause your bacteria to start, exacerbating, accelerating in their multiplication. Having elixir of life in your blood really helps to prevent and protect your cells from the damage caused by radiation. Now, this is a package, is what we call our Express Detox or Express Combo. We've now coined it the weight loss combo, just because obviously it's a weight loss summit we're doing today, but we don't really specialize in weight loss because all of our programs help the body to naturally achieve weight loss. Why? Because we've naturally been able to impact that FTO gene and turn it from fat storing mode into fat burning mode just from changing the environment internally. And how we do that is by using the HERN protocol, incorporating these products. We've got the Ultra Detox that's going in there, that's really working on the liver and the kidney, getting rid of all the toxins that are blocking those pathways. We've got the Oxyflush that's going in there, that's really helping to remove a lot of the waste that's causing the body to produce more fat cells to store the additional toxins that it can't get rid of. We've got the Elixir of Life that's getting rid of a lot of the pathogens. It's nourishing your bones, it's nourishing your joints. It's really helping to build up your tissues, build up your bones, build up the whole of your body's getting built up because it produces collagen, and the body always needs collagen. When you have all these elements going in alongside the brain juice, it's going to really increase blood flow to your brain. Naturally, your body realizes that, hey, all these threats that I was worried about that have to create fat cells to store have now been removed. So as a result of that, I'm now going to start releasing all this fat. I don't need it anymore. And people will achieve that every single time that they put the combination of these products into their body alongside the HERN protocol, alongside the lifestyle changes that we're going to talk about more next week. We're going to go into a lot more detail of how we do this and what we do next week in part 2. This is just part 1, just to kind of lay the foundation. Next week, we're going to go into a lot more in-depth details of how we use these products and the different packages that we use to bring that about. There's no reason to be able to follow the food as many of us are working. Yeah, so all that sort of things. Next week, though, we'll talk about the food, the sort of foods you can eat, the foods you can't eat, the type of dietary changes that you're going to make, the type of meals you're going to have. All that sort of stuff we're going to use next week, because there's a lot of foods you can eat that can turn off genes, and there's a lot of foods you can eat that can turn on genes. So you're going to make sure you've got the right foods that are switching off the fat storing gene and switching on the fat burning mode that will really help you to really be able to turn your body into the fat burning machine it's designed to be, without stepping one foot in the gym, without doing any kind of diet, without doing any kind of strenuous exercise. These are all done just from knowing what to do and changing the environment within your body internally and being able to bring us about almost simultaneously. So these are some of the things that we're going to cover next week in part 2. But this is one of our packages. We've got the weight loss combo, the Express Detox. It's 110. You can get it on the website, gojuicedetox.com. You just click on shop. You go to the website, gojuicedetox.com. That's 3 words, Go Juice. Well, it's actually all 1 word. Gojuicedetox.com, and go to main site. You click on shop. Make sure you click on shop, because that's where you see all the different packages. Express Detox is on the home page. You've got the mini combo. You've got the bigger combos. Depends what level of weight loss you want to lose. You can go to the next page. It's fine. What level of weight loss you want to lose. But these packages will all help you to get there, again, alongside the HERN protocol and making the lifestyle change that we're going to go into more next week. Do I have to do a scan? No, you haven't got to do a scan. You haven't got to do a scan. You can just take these packages naturally, because these packages, they've been designed based on people's usage over the years, and these are the results that they've come back achieved. This is why these packages are put together and so effective at doing what they do. Again, we spoke about hair early on. Once you've got some of the benefits now of detox and how you get your hair to start growing naturally, because once you've fed your body with all the things it needs and you've taken out all the things that it doesn't need, one of the side effects, again, of doing a detox or a lifestyle change is that your hair starts to grow, your hair starts to become a lot more nourished, your body's ability to regenerate new hair also greatly increases. So many things change as a result of you changing the environment internally. And we never were targeting the hair, we never were targeting weight loss, we never were targeting bones, we never were targeting skin. But all of these get impacted as a result of the change that we're creating internally. So naturally, externally, you'll see a lot of benefits that happen in different parts of the body. Next slide, please, real quick. Okay, again, beauty and skin. The beauty of your skin, it begins on the inside. Most people think, oh, let's put some on the outside, let's put some cream on. These things are all impacted by what's happening internally. Skin is an area that we're going to go into a little bit more next week as well. How can we really impact our skin? How can we get our skin to look more beautiful, look more younger, get rid of spots, get rid of blemishes? A lot of times people have problems with their skin linked to their liver. I've been using an amazing product that we've just started on this week. Sophie, I don't know if you heard of this product, but we've got this new product, this new liver cleanse, and we only take a few drops of it. And my goodness, you take about 10 drops, and within 15 minutes, your liver has produced probably about 3 pounds worth of waste. And you'll do that about 3-4 times during the day. And it does your liver and your kidney both at the same time. Again, it's a natural product from Peru. We're getting all these products in from Peru because these are products that the body recognizes and they're 100% natural and they're in their natural state. So again, your skin is something that is impacted as a result of changing the environment internally. And you'll see what happens externally. As we always say, spring clean your insides and you'll glow noticeably on the outside. Last slide, please. Last slide at the bottom. Okay, anyways, so the main thing that we're really stressing is the importance of letting food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Once we get in the habit and the mindset of using food as the body's natural medicine, it will get us out of the mindset of using, you know, chemicals and toxins and stuff that has a lot of side effects that the body doesn't recognize and it cannot use and cannot break down. And these are things that only really treat the symptoms, but none of them are actually dealing with the underlying problem or the underlying disorder. And once you've got the right foods in and the wrong foods out, it really helps you to get your body into a state where it goes into what we call accelerated healing. And the body's ability to heal itself, it greatly multiplies. And you'll find that weight loss is something that happens almost as a byproduct and side effect. So next week, we'll be going into much more detail on how we do that, what tools that we use, the tools we use to get the weight down, the tools that we use to deal with the skin, the tools we use to get your hair growing, all these things that we use as adjuvants to the actual products that we use to get the weight and the fat burning gene off. Sophia hopefully will be able to give us the fullness, the update on the de-Wi-Fi, because obviously that's a big problem that affects the body's the fat storing gene, because when the body has all these Wi-Fi signals coming in, it triggers almost like a cytokine storm, because all the bacteria starts to multiply, which then causes the body to have to store fat in order to store this bacteria and store these toxins that have now been produced, which then puts the body in that fat storing mode, which then puts you in weight gain mode again, and then you have this whole cycle starts over again. You're trying to lose weight, but you haven't got rid of the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is causing the bacteria to speed up. It's causing your pathogens to grow, and everything everything is linked to each other. So next week we're going to go into more detail of that. Sophie, you want to give us a quick update on the status play with the Wi-Fi kit?
Indeed, what a long road that has been. But yes, the kits are available. It depends on how large your house is. So a basic kit will be for 2 units, and that will just be for somewhere like that just has one. Like it's for a small family, one person, and that starts at £160, and then depending on how many rooms you need to cover, it goes from there. So yeah, I'm available to speak and to guide and to direct relating to what people need and how many points they're going to need to cover and that kind of stuff. Fantastic.
So we're going to cover all that next week, so you can get your de-Wi-Fi kit. I've had a lot of people ask me, where's Sophia? Where's the de-Wi-Fi kit? Where's that lady? Where's these kits? Do we need those kits? So that's great. So thank you so much for that. In the meantime, if you want to, keep up with the latest developments that we have a lot of products that we've got coming out, but a lot more scan technology that we're utilizing. You can join our Telegram group on Telegram. Just download Telegram. It's a lot better than WhatsApp. Download Telegram Messenger and join the healing rooms. Look for the healing rooms, natural health group on Telegram. Healing Room Natural Health group, and you'll be able to access all the recordings. Once this gets processed, we'll post it there first, because obviously that's where all our members are. All the Healing Room members are in the group. So download Telegram and search for Healing Rooms and join the group, so we can keep you up to date with all the summits that we have. Also, somebody asked if they wanted to get a scan. you can book a scan. We've actually got a special offer on at the moment. It's what's meant to finish on the 21st of July. It's actually meant to finish on the 4th of July when the lockdown ended, because it was a special offer for key workers and NHS workers. It was, instead of £120 for the scan, it was £80, but we've extended it till the end of July. For those who book, you have to book online. Go to the website, gojuicedetox.com, click on shop, and just type body MOT scan or body MOT, and it will come up, whichever one you type. And all the products, again, they're available on the site. All the different combos are available on the site. You don't need to have a scan to get a combo. I know some people are scared that they might find out some information they don't want to know for having a scan, but it's better you know than you don't know. But
yeah, and I was just going to add, somebody mentioned or asked a question earlier about incontinence relating to the hydration issue.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and you talked about there being a whole range of things that could be contributing to incontinence. You know, it could be something as simple as menopause, because you're producing, the female body will be producing less estrogen. That usually protects the linings. And, you know, your wonderful Menovate helps to balance that out, because it will replace those estrogens with natural plant phytoestrogens that are not damaging to the body, and the body knows exactly how to rebalance things with it. And onto growths that may be causing blockages in the line. So yes, Erin's saying you don't need to have a scan, but what's really useful is to have it so that you get to see what particular things are going on. A basic detox is always a good idea. That's something that people should be doing once every 3 months, I would say, to just keep things in order. But if you've never had a scan, there can be things that are hiding in there that we don't know that's going on. And I always laugh when people say, I'm scared and I don't want to know, but I always like, but you're walking around with this body.
Exactly.
You're walking around with it. So, you know, it's when we know, we get the choice to make better choices. We get to choose. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very well put, Sophie. Absolutely. So, you know, it's don't be scared. It's really important that you have the knowledge, because we're all about empowering people with information. And the more empowered you are, is the less you have to depend on other people who will come and tell you what you don't know, and you're doing things that you still don't know, and you're none the wiser. So at some point, you're going to have to know, but it's better you know with somebody who can actually help you to give you the tools that you need to address whatever it is that you're trying to run from. So
McLean Hector, thank you. Just said that my skin is radiant. And man, am I an advert for the products.
Indeed. Look at you, girl.
Elixir of life, power. And Erin sent me a lovely bottle of the skin rejuvenator, right? That just takes it to a whole new level. So if you don't know about that one, I guess it's on the website, right, Erin?
Yes, it's on there. It's on there.
Skin rejuvenator. It's just, you just need a little tiny squirt of magic.
You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. And it goes such a long way. Again, it's all plant-based, so it's good to get a little bit of plants into your body every single day, because you get all those phytonutrients that are really nourishing the body. Again, the body recognizes them and knows what to do. So all these things are available on the website, gojuicedetox.com. Just click on shop and it'll take you to all the products. But we're going to go into more of the product side of things next week. We're going to go into more of the solutions, how you can use these products, and what lifestyle changes you need to incorporate, what foods you can actually eat that will turn off genes, and what other things you need to do that will turn your fat storing gene off and help your body to lose that lockdown love without having to do any strenuous work or exercise. So thank you so much once again to everyone that's joined. Thank you very much to everyone that shared the information and shared the link. We will be doing it again next week. I don't think we're going to have a registration, because you've already registered, so you won't have a link to register. You'll just get the new login details that will be open, so you can share that with your friends and family. And make sure once again, join the Telegram group, Healing Rooms, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you, Glory. And thank you all those that have really helped to put this together and make it the fantastic summit it has been. Thank you so much. God bless you all. I'm going to leave the chat on just for a bit, so anybody wants to get from the chat, I'll leave it on for a couple of minutes. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves, they can quickly say bye-bye now.
Okay.
Bye.
And now I'm going to run now. All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Take care.
Thank
Thanks so much,
you.
Margaret.
Bye.
Bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Judy. Wow, you were here.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Denise.
Aaron, thank
Hey,
you. And good to
McLean.
see you. Good to see you, man.
Likewise. Try not to hide yourself next time.
Nah,
See you
nah,
later.
nah.
Yes, sir. Take care, Brian.
Yeah. All right, blessed. Yeah. Thanks, Sophie. Thank you all.
Take care, Aaron.
God bless
Thanks
you,
for
man.
another
God
great
bless you.
session.
Thank you. Is that Monique?
Thank you, Sophie. God bless.
You joined. Thank you.
Yeah, Erin was really good, and Sophie, it was lovely to see you.
Thanks, Dawn. Lovely to have you
I
on
don't
as well.
see you, Dawn, but it's lovely to hear you.
I know, I'm too ashamed. I haven't been taking what you've been taking. And I said to Erin, you'll be haunted for life. You'll never see me the same way.
Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I've got my 90 on.
Got 90 on.
Yes, you got lockdown fever. Lockdown fever.
Exactly. Anyway, I look forward to next week. It was a really good session, Erin.
Thank
Really,
you.
really
Thank you
good.
so much, Dawn.
Yeah.
Thank
So I'll
you.
see, and you, Sophie, I'll see you next week.
Okay, take care.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye.
Very good session, Aaron.
Thanks, Pauline. God bless you. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow, Sophie's skin looks good for real. Wow.
I'm going to drink so much water. I've got room for food now.
You're going to get your water drinking, yeah? Get it in there, girl.
Where would I have time to eat with so much water drinking?
Yeah, you won't. You won't need the food. You won't need the food. That's why you're losing the weight. Awesome. Brilliant. Brilliant. Pleasure. No wrinkles, you know. Look at that. Wow. Alrighty.